All right, guys, we got the long-awaited first round fantasy football rankings. I'm just gonna do a classic S to D tier. It's gonna be super simple. I got about 3 players per each tier. And also these are gonna be super controversial. You guys are gonna for sure argue about this, but this is just what I think, just based on some of the research that I've done, some predictions, injury concerns, stuff like that. But first player, I think the best player in the 2025 fantasy football NFL draft is Bijan Robinson. So I just think based on last season, he started a little bit underperforming, and throughout the season just rose the entire time. Super good. Uh, Even when they put in Michael Penix, the 3 games that I think he played, he was like 20 high 20s. Maybe I think he had a 30-point game in there too. Like he's just blowing up projections so much. He's about at the 102, I think. This guy is just he's phenomenal. He's gonna have passes. He's gonna get so many carries. I mean, he'll probably have 300 some carries at the end of this. He's not really an injury concern. He hasn't had a serious one yet, to be fair, but I think he played all 18 games last year, and he slowly took that workload away from Tyler Algier, even though he originally had maybe like it was 60-40, but he brought that down like 75, or maybe probably more like 80-20. So Tyler Algier was just nothing after that. So the second player I got up is CeeDee Lamb. Now I know CeeDee Lamb's going at the 106, so most of you guys, I mean, if you have just an upper pick, you'll be able to get him. I think he's an absolute steal. This guy is. I always love to grab receivers that have maybe a little bit of an attitude off the field. Like this guy, if he's not getting the receptions, the yards, stuff like that, targets, he's gonna voice his complaint. He's gonna he'll talk to the just say something in public, Cowboys press conference, something like that, and then the next game he'll get like 12 targets, 14 targets, something like that, and have like 100 receiving yards and a touchdown or two, something like that. So I love the vocal receivers, but he was struggling with a bit. It was a shoulder injury last season, and the guy still just put up. Maybe he was like wide receiver 5 or 6. Like this guy's similar to Jefferson. He's almost wide receiver proof or quarterback proof. Like, and Dak was injured for 8 games, half the season. So this guy's for sure gonna be up there, no matter what. I think he's a lock at wide receiver 5 minimum. I mean, he has the potential to finish wide receiver 1, and the floor of wide receiver 5. So and he is not really an injury concern. I believe his shoulder is healed pretty well, and yeah. So the last player we have in the S tier is Jameer Gibbs. I don't really think I have to say much about this guy. All he did last season, and even since his rookie season, is just slowly take away carries from Monty. And I know Monty was injured for part of the season, but that just highlighted everything about Gibbs. I mean, I think the Lions were playing their best football even when Monty was out. I mean, he was so explosive. His speed is crazy. This guy gets crazy amount of passes. He gets plenty of carries, and I know the only reason why I put him lower than CD and even Bijan, honestly, is just because I know the Lions O line got a bit blown up. I think it was their center that got injured, and I think there's one other player on their O line dealing with something, and Monty's back now, so he'll take away even if it's just a couple, he'll just take away some carries. But I think this guy is still a great pick. I think he's going about the 105, so I mean, I feel like if you got an upper pick, you'll be able to take him with ease. And I just don't think that there's much downside to him. He isn't really an injury concern. I remember last season when he was going around like 12, 14, he was questionable, but it ended up being nothing in the end. So, and he had the running back 1 season, so it's crazy. All right, so the first player we have in A tier, and I know this is controversial. Everyone's gonna be taking Jamar Chase in the first with the first pick. 90% of drafts are taking Jamar Chase right away, and the other 10%, I just don't think. I know Jameer Gibbs also finishes the RB1, and what I'm about to say about Jamar Chase is I just don't think he can finish as the one again. Usually the wide receiver 1 doesn't finish the wide receiver 1 2 seasons in a row. I mean, I don't think it's happened maybe ever. And I guess if I'm using the same logic for Jameer Gibbs, maybe I should put him down in the A tier. But I mean, they are back to back. It's I guess Jameer Gibbs and Jamar Chase, I guess you could flip them around and it'd be the same thing. I just don't think he can finish the same. I just compared to CD, he's not exactly QB proof. We saw it. I think it was 2 seasons ago with Joe Burrow. He got injured, and I mean, I think he had a wide receiver 12 finish, which is not ideal. It's not what you want, and he's not exactly an injury concern. But Joe Burrow has a bit of an injury concern, so it's up in the air. I just don't think that there's any way that he goes wide receiver one again for this season. All right, so the next player we got is Justin Jefferson. I hate to put him this low because I'm a massive Jettas fan. He plays for the Vikings. Vikings is my team, so you know how it is. But I'm only putting him down this low is because he's got a questionable hamstring right now, and I just know in the preseason some of these injuries can linger and just affect some of the games into the regular season. So only reason why I'm putting him this low, I would put him ahead of. Actually, I'd put him behind CD if he was perfectly healthy, just because we don't exactly know what JJ McCarthy's in for. I think I think he's gonna be pretty good, and I know Jettas is QB proof. I just don't know how much upside he has. As in, I don't know if he can finish wide receiver 1 with JJ McCarthy. We got to figure it out, but I think he's probably at lowest gonna be like a wide receiver 4 if he's healthy for all 17 games. I mean, I think he's wide receiver 4 and at worst maybe like a wide receiver 8, which isn't a terrible finish, but it's not exactly what you're looking for with your first round pick. So next player we got is Christian McCaffrey. Now this guy is all upside and got a crazy amount of downside. This guy I think he's going to be 29 this year, which is on the high end for running back. And I mean, he's got crazy amount of upside. He's running back 1 on his day, but as you saw last season, the guy played 3 games, wasn't fully healthy, and I think his best finish was 15 fantasy points, and that's it. And he only played 3 games, so I think he got a total of 44 points all year. And all he did was battle with that injury. And so if you take him this year, just know that he has got the downside of running back 60, but the upside of running back 1 easily. And the only reason why I put him this high is because the 49ers, he's going to be their main focal point. I guess he's always been their focal point, but he's going to just be that more important. His their backup running back got injured, and Jordan Mason got traded to the Vikings. So he is literally their only running back right now. And with Ayuk out, for the first at least 8 games, he's going to be their only offensive player. So that's why I'm putting him this high. Okay, the last player I got in the A tier is Puka Nacua. This guy, I don't think I have to say much about him. The last 8 games he played last season, I mean, they were crazy. He had a 40-point game. He was averaging 20-some points a game, and he was still competing with targets with Cooper Kupp. Now that Devontae Adams, I don't think it'll be much different. I'm guessing Devontae Adams is going to be better than Cooper Kupp, but Puka Nacua is still going to have the same amount of targets. I mean, he was getting so many yards after catch. It wasn't even the amount of targets he was getting. He was getting I think a standard 8 or something like that, and he was just getting so many yards after the catch. He was just tearing apart the teams. Okay, so the first player I got in the B tier is Saquon Barkley. I know this is going to be controversial just because of the season he had last year, but I think he's a massive injury concern just because he didn't get injured a single game last season, even in the postseason, all the way to the Super Bowl. He was completely healthy, no problems at all, and it depends on how many years you've been playing fantasy, but he's been a massive injury concern those 5 years, and just to have one season where he's fully healthy, trust me, it could repeat again. And if he's completely healthy this season, he's gonna have an RB5 at worst finish, probably more like an RB2 or 3. But if he gets injured, that could just destroy your entire fantasy team. Just because it's such an important pick early on, the running back. So next player I got is Malik Nabers. Now I know this guy is questionable right now, so you're going to have to read more into it just because it just recently came out. I don't really know much about it, but this guy, the only downside of taking him is you don't get many top 5 wide receiver finishes in a bottom 10 NFL offense, and I do believe the Giants are in a bottom 10 offense. I know that they just got Russell Wilson and they signed the other receiver that they have. I know they got Cam Scatterboo, but I just don't see a top outside of a bottom 10 offense for the Giants. I just don't think they're that good. So that's my only hesitation in taking him, but this guy's got crazy talent. He'll have targets. He is their main focal point in this offense. So you can count on him for sure being inside the top 10. But I don't know. It's all up to you. The last player I got in the B tier is De'Von Achane. This guy, I don't know if everyone remembers, but 2 seasons ago he was out for a majority of the season with that injury. So this guy's got a slight injury concern. Also, the Dolphins are having a bit of a fall off right now. So only reason, and also his fantasy points completely rely on Tua. If you looked at last season, he was going to be a top 3 RB if Tua was completely healthy. But immediately after Tua was injured for I think it was like 6 games, De'Von Achane was putting up 5 points, 6 points, 8 points, something like that a week, and that's just not what you want to see out of your first round pick. So that's the only reason why I'm putting him at B tier. He is being drafted around, I think, 10 to 12, somewhere in there. So it is good value, but I'm just a little bit weary about the injury concern of him and the health of Tua. Second to last player, and also I did 12 players here just so it doesn't matter if you got a 10-man PPR or a 12-man PPR, you can see all this. And also, this is in PPR. I'm not doing half PPR and stuff like that, just to keep it consistent with my other videos. So I got Amon-Ra at the C tier, and I know this is just maybe not what people want to see, but I just don't think he has the crazy upside of wide receiver 1. I just think he's a very consistent guy. He's just going to be, a wide receiver 4, 5, 6, something like that. He just doesn't have the 1,800-yard seasons, or Jamar Chase Triple Crown seasons, something like that. It's just, he's just a very consistent guy. And if that's what you're looking for, just a consistent receiver that's going to stay moderately healthy and be a nice focal point in a really offensive team, then yeah, I'd go and take Amon-Ra. But if you're looking for that RB1, wide receiver 1, it's probably not going to be him. So I'd avoid him in most of the fantasy drafts if you're going for that upside player and you're trying to find that number 1. And the last player I got is Ashton Jeanty. Okay, so I'm super high on Ashton Jeanty. I know this list doesn't show it. It's solely because we've got no idea how good this guy is going to be. If he carries over from college, he's going to be great. Just, I'm a little bit wary about the Raiders team. I know that is probably also going to be a bottom 10 offense. Now, it's going to be not the worst offense in the league, but it might be the 9th worst offense in the league. And that's just, he's going to be their main focal point. I just don't know how that's going to show in a fantasy perspective. I don't know if that's, an RB6, RB8, RB12. It's just a matter of time to decide. I just don't know if you want to take that kind of risk on a rookie. I didn't look into his injury past at all. I don't know if he's an injury concern or not. I just put him here solely on the fact that we haven't seen him in the NFL at all. All right, guys, and this is just a picture of my final rankings. Look them over. Comment if you got any disagreements. I'd love to hear the disagreements. You got to make me think a little bit more. And make sure to hit that subscribe button. I need the subscribers. I think I got 3 right now. Come on, guys, help a man out.